Welcome to More Than Just Study Abroad. I'm your host Halak, an international student currently studying in London. I bring forth to you this podcast to help you bridge the gap between the expectations you might have and the reality of what life as an international student really is like. Each episode, I sit down with other students who are also studying abroad to bring their stories, the real life experiences, straight to you. We're here to talk about all those moments you don't really read in the brochures. Everything from navigating cultural differences to managing daily life abroad. So let's dive straight into the conversation. Welcome, Soma. Thank you so much for coming because you're the second guest from the series of LSE. We're talking about London School of Economics. So, how about you go about introducing first off? Where are you from? What course you're studying, and everything?
Yeah, let me start. So, myself Soma. I'm basically from Tamil Nadu, where I was born. And for schooling and for my college, I moved to Bangalore. So, it's been like 10 years since I moved to Bangalore. So, my bachelor's, it was in BCom honors from Christ University. I specialized in finance and investment. I wanted my field to be commerce, I was sure. But I wasn't sure like where I have to go, like finance or is it marketing? There are so many options at that. So, I tried different fields like I did my own research where I wanted to work through, where I'll be little happier. Finance made me little happier. Not sure about now, but yeah, it was happier that time.
That's fine. That's
Yeah.
fine.
So that's how my bachelor's went. Then right after my bachelor's, I got a placement in a company called Bayers. It was in pharmaceutical. Still, I was applying for jobs outside the market, like apart from my placement. Luckily, I got into JP Morgan.
Oh, yes.
So I kept applying. It was not like the first job I applied. I applied like 100 and 150 jobs. And in India, it's very competitive. There are so many graduates out there.
Do you find that in London it's less competitive than India?
Yeah, I think it's actually comparatively less competitive. I think we have like a time bomb in our head, like the visa sponsorship. To be honest, when I was checking with all the British people, they don't search for jobs so much to get into a job, especially in finance side. I'm not sure about other sides. They were able to get at least the first round or second round so much easier than the person who's having visa sponsorship.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like you are an home student, you have a good target college behind you, then you're gonna get it. In India, it's gonna be much harder if you come out of college. Like one good thing about India compared to UK is something called as placements are there in India. Like college,
yes.
like you're just fighting with your own college mates for the placement. You're not fighting with the whole of India.
Yes.
So that is something completely different. And usually people, for example, if you're in a good college, usually a lot of companies come. So that is actually like you can easily get a job through placement rather than getting it outside in India. That's all.
True. And the placements usually have the interviews directly.
Yeah, that is the best part.
You directly go in for the interview.
Yeah.
But you don't have to apply before that?
Like they usually start list on basis of your marks, to be honest. If you're above 70 percentile or 80 percentage, they'll be like, okay, you are first round. And secondly, sometimes they do keep online tests, or sometimes they just directly take you to a group discussion, GD. Yeah, GD with 10 people. You pass it, you go to the final stage of interview. There's not at all a complication like in London.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't have something like you have to fill so much application here, like you spend for 1 hour, 2-3 hours. You just finish it, you just apply it. It's so much easier in placement compared to outside. Maybe if you come out and you're searching for the job outside, it's much harder. Because usually they say within 1 minute of application opening, there are so many graduates in India.
True.
We have a lot of population.
We don't have enough jobs. That's the problem actually. We need more employment opportunities coming up over there. More job opportunities actually opening up for the students.
Yeah. So
become a job market.
So I think, in comparatively, if you think about getting a job outside the market, comparing London to India, I think London is much easier if you're an home student. That is my point of view in finance, yeah. Because
what about international students?
International student, that's a very sad topic.
Yes, it's difficult.
It's not impossible.
Yeah.
But it's like you just don't give up.
I agree.
Yeah. For example, right now, it's just 2 months since I came to London. And we don't have something like a graduate scheme back in India.
Yeah.
That's something completely new for me here. Like you start your application right now. I'm like, bro, I just started my college right now.
Yes.
I'm just still getting used to what London is, first of all. And you are asking me to do application, do IRV interviews. That is something I found something interesting, because IRV was not at all there in India. I'm not sure why.
Yes, higher view interviews are more common in the UK, where they genuinely give you the questions and they expect you to just record yourself, video recording of yourself answering the questions, and you send it to them. Because at least it doesn't put that pressure on you of, oh, you have to do it within this time. It's the 30 minutes, you have to make it work. At least you get the time to articulate your thoughts, form the answers in your mind before you go on to interview. So it's less stressful, but again, I wouldn't say having an interview in person with the team is not good, because you can actually ask the questions to them as well.
Yeah, but that's something I found fascinating, to be honest. Yeah, it's something which was never there in India, or maybe they are doing it now. I'm not sure.
You came to LSE for masters over here, and when you came over here, you already know that graduate schemes already have the application period started, right? So how many other master students around you actually know about this?
I think it's actually depends on the roles they are applying for. Because if it's something like finance role or something related to tech, I feel like they have a lot of graduate schemes opening up.
Yes, there are.
Compared to other any roles. And like I said, people are not much aware about it, especially when they're coming from India. They're just trying to blend in for first 2-3 months. People say it's hard to get into a graduate scheme, but at least you'll get used to the process in the start itself. You don't have to you don't have to wait till the last moment to start getting used to it, so that you don't feel bad. Like, see, even if I'm getting rejected all the time, every day I wake up. Yesterday I woke up, it was a PwC mail. Day before yesterday I woke up, it was a Bank of America. It just keeps getting on. So you are just getting used to the process. For example, I'm 100% sure. Right when I joined, like September 15th, I think I took my first higher view around September 25th or something like that. And compared to that, the IRU which I took 2 days back, I'm pretty sure I'm so much better right now when compared to the ones I took in September 25th. Because I was totally new to the concept and I was not sure how to articulate. And it's so weird to record yourself.
Yes,
That is so weird.
It is. I'm going to have to face that eventually.
Yeah. That is so weird to do, record yourself as starting, but you get used to it. And you start to know the pattern, how they ask questions also. Like what kind of questions. It's usually behavioral, not really technical, but so you get used to it. I think there are a lot of things that people usually ask before coming to UK. They should do a lot of research.
Yes. And not just research that is limited to, oh, what university are you going to? University is the first step, because eventually university will end in a year. And if you're thinking about even staying in the UK for the long term, then you might as well think about university ends in 1 year, but what after that? Have you thought about it? So I guess when you apply to universities, that's when you get a teaser or an idea of, okay, things happen really early. Like the planning starts very early for, be it applying to universities or even if it's about just getting a job. Because again, application period for graduate schemes begin 1 year before.
That is something I found amazing. And in my particular case, I was pretty clear about it because I was working in JP Morgan before coming here. So people started asking me question, first of all, why are you leaving a good paying job in India to get something?
I was going to come to that question anyway. What?
I was pretty clear about the college I'm going to do, because when I wanted to apply, I applied only for LSE and Imperial. I had not applied to any other college. For example, I wanted to do GMAT, because for LSE you need a GMAT score. You don't just go with an IEL score. So first I planned for my GMAT. Right before I was taking my GMAT, I left my job because I was not able to concentrate completely on GMAT. Because
so you left your job even before you had...
I took a very big risk, and people were, especially my manager, was not letting me leave because you already work for more than 2 years. You know the process end to end. So they're like, we have to train someone new again to the same process. But sometimes I feel like I don't think I'll take the same risk again if 2 years back. The reason I left my job is because I didn't want to build my career in credit. I was working in a department called as credit risk. It was related to checking the risk of the clients, of American clients. So I wanted to move something to an asset management or wealth management. Then that's when it thought, like, where can I do something like that? How can I build my career out of it? So
isn't that easier within the company though? I was thinking about, because a lot of people, when they do come to universities and say, oh, you can just join the company from this role and then you can pivot to another one and then you could shift horizontally, of course.
People do say that, but chances of it happening is very hard if you're not having a particular background, especially in India.
I see.
In India, for example, I tried those options like horizontal movement, or I was applying for a job. So, for example, see, asset management or investment management or wealth management, it's all tier one roles in India. They are one of the highest paid finance roles compared to all the other roles. And if you see the qualification they ask, it's like you have to complete an MBA from tier one university, or like you have to be from a reputable universities as a master's, or you need to do something like a CA or CFA.
Okay.
FRM.
Yeah.
So I was calculating all those things. For example, CFA will take 2-3 years again, then FRM or CA will take much more years than that. But I was not sure if I should take CA for 5 years or something like that with internship.
I guess LSE was the shortest.
Shortest path. I was like, there are a lot of options. To be honest, I was so confused before finalizing LSE because there are so many universities in the world, so many good universities, and so many countries to go to. And like people ask, like, why did you choose UK? Well, why did you not choose US? Why did you not choose Singapore or something like that? I'm like, yeah, I just wanted to go with one credible. And I was talking to some of the alumni, so that's how I decided LSE. And I was pretty clear about my point. And yeah, I think one of the reasons people don't get jobs in UK is because people come for an university, they don't have a clear mind of which career they want to take to. They usually come like they got a master's.
Yes.
They don't have a clear idea. If you think there are a lot of university I've seen like masters in project management, masters in engineering innovation, masters in because those are all very niche market in UK. Like you don't have much employers in it to get into. And UK is very hard on immigrations right now.
Yes, it is very hard.
So if you get into
So from the list of 10 employers, now maybe 5 of them are accepting you.
Yeah. And already, for example, like there are a lot of constructions happening in UK, but still it's not as good as like there are a lot of construction happening in Dubai or in India.
Yeah.
This is very like it's very particular. You need to be very high skilled to get into a job into UK. For example, in UK, like the employer has a rule that all the job applicants, like they are not fit, especially the British citizen, then only they can hire you.
Yes.
So that's the work. So you are fighting against all the British citizens. So it's not that easy.
Yes. Also, because if you are in London, it becomes even more difficult because everybody from not just within the UK, but also from outside the UK is applying. So any company that promises like, oh, we will sponsor, they don't just, those messages or those job posts are not only for students who are international within the country, but also who are not living in the country. It might be somewhere completely different. Maybe someone sitting in India might be in your college and has applied to the same job posting that you did.
That is also true because London is like one of the big global hubs.
It's the biggest markets
global hubs
for the finance, at least.
Yeah,
it's a big magnet which pulls people in a lot easy.
So it's gonna be much harder. So
makes sense. So you mentioned about how you decided to come to LSE to study and pivot from moving from credit risk to now asset management. Now that you've also done the applications for graduate schemes, how are you able to balance between the applications and your studies? Because yes, LSE is still a very reputable university where while you do the applications, there's also studies and a lot of assignments and deadlines that you still need to do it.
To be honest, I don't know how I'm keeping up with it. I'm getting exhausted every single day, but like it always feels the time flies here. Like you go to a college, you come back, you do something related to college, and it's already nighttime, and it gets pretty dark here very fast, and you don't feel like I'm already done with the day. I'm like, okay. So it's like you don't feel like you have to do so much in a day. You feel like, okay, let me just take a break. Oh no. But for example, even for starting, I was getting overwhelmed, to be honest. I was getting overwhelmed on how many, because everyone started having like the deadlines for each application. So I was trying to pinpoint what under roles I want to get into. And I was seeing the which deadlines are closing faster. I just kept applying for those things first. And so that in the remaining time I was studying. But right now I am focusing more on my studying time than my applications. Because see, the reason I came to LSE is to build my skills in finance.
Yes.
It's not about getting a job alone in the UK.
Yes.
So I thought first let me build my skills really good, so that even if I get even just a one chance in an interview, I can just prove my point.
Yes.
Because if I go to and get into an interview and I'm not able to prove my point, it's going to be
much difficult to get
another option.
Eventually, yeah.
So right now I'm concentrating more on the studies part and trying to build as much of skills as possible, trying to meet new people in the class or whatever events they're keeping. For example, alumni meet or something. I just keep attending those stuff, and then in the remaining time, I just put applications to the. There are times I feel like I was not able to complete some applications. I'm like, okay, still it's fine.
Yeah. You do miss out on some job postings because you can't tailor the applications for each and then expect to have applied to every single thing. Sometimes you do miss out on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm focusing more on this. And for example, in finance side, if I want to, I met alumni, they're like, don't take too much tension. It's gonna be better every time. It's like starting, it's gonna be hard. Then you get used to the stuff.
Yes.
Then it's like you can start with a small internship. So just try to go through day to day. Whatever you want to learn, start learning it.
True. Actually, you worked in JP Morgan in India for 3 years now, right? And now you're moving to do masters. Would you even consider going for an internship, or would you say no, that's not correct? The graduate schemes are also quite for beginner or entry level positions, or do you think you have to start off at entry level position because now you are in a new country and you're starting out?
No, I don't think I have to start in a new role just because I had 3 years of experience, because I want to start completely a new domain. So that is something completely, I don't have a relevant work experience in particular domain. Like, did I do investment banking before? No. So at least you need to have a relevant work experience if you want to start having your career built out of it.
True.
So I'm open to even internships or graduate. I don't apply for experience here, but I do apply for internships and graduate roles. Whichever gets to the main role for me, I'll be better.
Yeah, makes sense. Because at least we know that even if you have 3 years of experience back in India, doesn't mean that you directly qualify for an experienced hire.
And I found in London, when I was talking to various career counselors or in the LSE department, or people don't, to be honest, even if you have a global company, you're working in a global MNC or any company, it doesn't have to be Goldman Sachs or JP Morgan, they don't consider abroad experience. And they always think about UK local experience. I'm not sure why. But
interesting.
I met 2 or 3 alumni who worked in Deloitte and KPMG who are graduated, who are working right now in graduate scheme. And they're like, I used to work in Deloitte and people don't consider it yet. Like, they don't have a local experience. I'm like, people have asked me directly in an interview. People do think that India as a finance market is not as developed as other markets, maybe because of that.
Interesting. But I wouldn't think about the market in that sense. You still develop the skills, right?
Not sure why, but people don't consider that a lot.
It makes sense to understand that if you worked in the UK, you're familiar with how the process works or what the end-to-end process would be like if you worked over here already, or the legal compliances and all the issues. And familiar maybe with the people who are living over here, at least that. But other than that, you're still developing skills.
I think
in any market, I believe.
I think another one of the reasons is because the process of any big global MNC company which is coming to India is because they outsource it for cheap labor. So people always think, for example, I'm not sure, have you heard of big 4 companies, EY, PwC,
Yes.
KPMG?
Yes.
Yeah. So for example, EY, GDF, there's like global service. It's like you're not technically working for the clients. You're technically working for other EY companies, like in the UK. You work the inefficient part, so that because in UK you have to pay them by an hour, but India is much more cheaper, so they all do the repetitive task. Yeah, so it's usually like that. So
even the skills you're building back in India working in the company are slightly, they're not the same.
You don't face the clients enough. For example, JP Morgan, but we don't have clients of India, we have clients of North America. So JP Morgan doesn't do investment banking in Indian markets.
Yes, makes sense.
And so it's like that. For example, like London, they have this market for people who are a lot of friends professionals there. So maybe because of that, maybe it's just my opinion, I'm not sure.
You will know when you get into JP Morgan back again. Maybe. But that's a good point. Now that you talk about moving to London, it's been 2 months since you moved to London, right? How do you find getting used to it over here? Did you have any culture shock particularly, or did you adjust pretty well over here, or maybe you got too busy to even think about it?
Not like I was too busy, but for example, first 2 weeks was depressing. It was very depressing because it was completely new place. It's not something like you move from, like I was from Tamil Nadu, I moved to Bangalore. It's not like that difference. It's like you move to a completely different country. You don't have anyone to rely on. If something goes wrong, you have to learn every single thing from the start. You still have Google, but still, there are a lot of things you will learn. Yeah, you can't just start from like opening a bank account. You open this, like you take an Oyster card. It could be just small, but still you'll find that start overwhelming you.
It starts piling up so quickly. Yeah.
It's true. And you have to start doing it, and it's like pretty much you have to rely on yourself every single day. You don't have anyone to rely on because it's completely new place. And culture shocks, I find it to be much more like The culture shock. The place will look so much deserted in UK. Like whenever I walk in India, it's like a lot of people are. It's always noisy. When you walk here, it's like full deserted. Yeah, it's much more cleaner. There are a lot of other things, but yeah, that is something like I felt like. Yeah.
It's very quiet over here.
Yeah.
It's very quiet. Unless you are in like central London.
Yeah, it's very quiet.
It's very quiet everywhere else. But otherwise as well, there's no one honking on the street. So that's a big.
No one shouting, no peddlers walking here and there. It's like, and London is very expensive, and people always say that before coming here. It's like until you live there, you don't know how expensive it is.
True. That's so true.
Like people always say it's expensive. I'm like, yeah, it's expensive, okay. But when you come here, you'll be like, oh, that was the big shock. Oh my god, you have to pay tube. I'm like, I used to pay that for a month in Bangalore tube metro. You asked me to pay for one way here, like 3-4 pounds. But
Yeah.
30 rupees for a ride and 25 rupees in Bangalore. You spend around 300, 400.
And now it's 10 times over here.
Yeah.
I used to pay 30 rupees. Now
Yeah.
I'm paying 300 rupees.
Oh, it's so expensive. But maybe if you're earning there, it's easy. But one thing I'm very happy about in London is the public transport.
Yes.
Like you have like 5 tube stations, you can just walk to wherever you're standing. You'll be like left, right, straight. You still have a lot of tube stations. My public transport is so good. You don't have to worry about anything. That is something I feel like India should really adopt something, because I feel like with the amount of population we are, public transport is something which could do a like I'm from Bangalore. You have no idea how traffic. It's like one of the most traffic city in India or most other parts of the world. Like they should do something. For example, I've been in traffic like 4 to 5 hours just to cross 3 or 4 kilometers in Bangalore. It's just jam packed. It's so bad.
At this point, you might as well walk. You'll be faster.
You will say that, but it's not easy. That is also something. It's like you can walk so much in London, but you can't walk in India. I'm not sure why. Like even if you walk for 300 or 400 meters in India, you get so tired, or maybe it's
because of the weather. I would a lot of times say, because it's cold over here, it's easier to walk and you don't sweat. India is so hot. You start melting the moment you step outside the house.
And I think another thing is because of the footpaths here. We have a lot of footpaths to walk on. There's no footpaths. You have to walk in the roads, and it's easier to walk here comparatively. And even
also, I guess noise is very less over here, so it's easier to walk, I guess.
That is also true. So even if you walk like 4 to 5 kilometers here, you don't feel that tired. But if you walk 600, 700 meters in India, I'm like, should I take an auto or should I take a scooty? Like, yeah.
True. We're very used to that, I guess. But yeah, that is one thing I noticed over time. There is a higher priority for anyone who wants to walk. Even the cars, the buses, no matter what it is, the pedestrians will have the highest priority in maybe crossing the road or maybe just walking to one place to the other. Even central London, I think a lot of places in central London have very thin single or 2-lane roads where it's sometimes the cars are standing over there, the black cabs, and everyone's just standing there just because there's a crossing signal for 30 seconds or 15 seconds, and there's hundreds of people just crossing and getting to the next place. Which is again, I respect it, because that means the more people are walking, the more they are promoting the public transport. But I guess cars also have their benefits. You can get some places sometimes. So you drive it. You decide when to leave and when to reach some.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, that's pretty nice.
In trains, you can't do much. If they're delayed, yes, they're delayed. 10 minutes, yes, you have to wait 10 minutes. They strike.
Oh, that's the sad part.
Yeah, you can't do much. You go into bus. Oh, yes, the bus is completely packed. You might want to go in and stand there, but maybe the driver doesn't want to let you in, which is also a very sad fact.
And people in London, I think that everyone should know is like, compared to India, even if you're living in a metro city, I don't think the crime rate is that bad. People do say that India, you have a lot of crimes happening here and there. But when I came to London, it's much easier to, like, you flick your phone, or if you see the stats also. Like, for example, I have seen, especially my classmate, his phone got flicked, and I've seen like 2-3 people got flicked, because I live in, like, my college is in Westminster. It's one of the highest crime rates happening in Westminster. So it's like out of like 400 cases per 1,000 people. So that is so high. Like, you have no idea. Like, more than 1/3 are going to get like,
their phones flicked. Yeah.
And I'm not sure what's happening, because, and even people getting stabbed, it's very common in London, it's in. I'm like, so people are much more
careful about it. Yes.
Yeah.
Stabbings and phone flicking, they are the top crimes over here.
think that is something which we are not that used to, because people are wearing the straps in their phone just to, like, so that people don't flick it off, and that is something very uncommon, because I don't think someone can flick off, especially in Bangalore, because they can't go in a bike and go fast. They'll just stand in the traffic and just catch them out and like, please stop them. So that's something.
Because there's no point in run away. You can't run away.
Yeah.
It's because I think a lot of it also happens on the cycle lanes.
Yeah, cycle lanes.
Because they're the closest to the pavement. So you have the pavement, then you have the cycle lane, and then you have the main lane for the roads for the cars. So it's like the cycle lane is pretty much most of the time empty. It has easier traffic even in central London. So they are not busy. So there's a lot of high chance of them being able to ride really fast, take your phone and just beep. I know one of the LSE student that I interviewed before, she mentioned that if you kind of hold your phone like this, that's easier somehow to prevent it from being flicked away. Yeah, I guess. Let me know if that helps.
But to be honest, I think it's easier. They flick it off really fast. Because my friend had a strap. He had a small strap. When they plugged it, he had an iPhone 17 Pro Max, the orange color. I think it was so easy for them to find out he had an iPhone 17. So he was just standing. I think he was in Arun Street metro's tube station just outside. He was standing there. He told the way they took the e-bike and they just flicked it off, his watch tore itself because of the force.
Oh.
I was surprised, because how can a watch tear itself?
Damn.
And they say they're really good at it. And even if you complain something, like, see, if you go to a police station, they say you go and do a online complaint registration form. And to be honest, he said, so I think it's done and done. There's no point getting it anymore. So I think people are so used to getting. I think another reason is that there's something called as, like, they have this insurance here. So they just pay £8 a month. So even if their phone get flicked off, they get a new phone from the company. So okay, I'll get a new phone just tomorrow. And like, no worries.
Yeah, I think that's a good option. I think the companies understand that this is a very common issue. That's why they do think about these as well. This is one way for them to develop a loyalty for customers, I guess.
That's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah. So far, how do you think your experience has been studying in LSE? Have you made friends? Do you join any societies?
Okay, in my course, especially in LSE, if you see my demographic of students, it's mostly Asians.
And you're studying
masters in accounting and finance. So it's mostly Chinese people. Then I think around 60 people of Chinese and 20 people of Europeans, means including the British. And there's just a single Indian out there. So to be honest, it depends on a university. For example, I was seeing some people who are going for some universities like BPP, or where they had only Indian students, the full class.
Oh.
Yeah, I have BPP University, because they have, when you go to a target school, I feel like you start finding much more international crowd compared to
yes
you do
find it.
And I think that's really important, because you're coming to London to experience different people.
True.
So, yeah, so if you get much more like, it's not easy to blend into someone like some other culture. When you have started blending in, you find that they have a very different culture, and you find to experience new things in a new different light. And for example, a way of thinking for solving a problem, or the way of thinking on going with the course, it's completely different the way we do. For example, if you think about my LSE experience, I really love the college. Like the way they teach, it's completely different from what I did my bachelor's.
How is it different from where back in India what you studied?
So for example, I didn't do a master's in India. Maybe it could be similar to this, I'm not sure. But I did my bachelor's, and it was so generic, or sometimes it was a little outdated to whatever I was doing in JP Morgan or something like that. It was something like XYZ company, you see that accounting, credit, debit. It was just very general. Or you do something like finance analysis, something which is not practical, like which they are not doing right now. But when I came to LSE, for example, in accounting and finance, we have 8 subjects to take for this total to complete a year. 4 in the first, like 4 or 5, depends on the module you select. So
4 modules in the first sem and 4 or 5 modules in the second semester.
Depends.
And you only have 2 semesters?
Yeah. I mean, like till December, it's one of the one semester. Then we have till April, the second semester. They finish it up very fast, and they're ready.
You don't have the third semester where you have dissertation or something?
No, I did not choose a dissertation. I wanted to do a module. Okay. I cancelled the dissertations. We had an option. It's not compulsory. So I thought dissertation is not something which is needed in finance. I was seeing the last academic year, only 2 people chose out of 90 people dissertation.
Oh.
Because in my opinion, you will learn much more if you're taking a particular model like a currency swap or a particular topic than doing a dissertation in that particular field. And even the professors suggested us, like, if you really want to do a dissertation or do you want to pursue something like a PhD in the future, you do a dissertation. It's
I see. So it's better for anyone who is interested in research.
Correct, exactly.
Maybe. Okay.
Yeah. So they're like, you can do it. Maybe it differs for different fields. For this, they're like, learn as much as possible, learn as much as modules as possible, so that you can leave and with a good tag.
I guess because dissertation is also something you do it alone. Professors are encouraging more like, why don't you just spend time with the people over here and learn from each other, or maybe come to the classes, like show up. The lectures will teach you more, I guess.
So we always have something like for example, the four courses which I take, it's gonna be first 4 courses. Then it's gonna be like we have lectures in the first half of the week, and next half of the week we usually have the seminars. Like they give our case studies, we have to go through it, and we usually discuss it. And it's very interesting because it's always something which is relevant, or it could be little past also, but something which is interesting. And they have practical approach towards finance part.
So you did notice that when you were working for your bachelor's, when you studied in India in bachelor's, and then you moved to GP Morgan, you noticed that the skills, or let's say whatever you were taught, doesn't directly apply to the job. But now when you've done the job and you come to LSE, do you think now maybe the skills or what you're learning right now will be easier to apply when you get a job? Or do you think, there's still going to be a gap between what you study and what you do in your job?
It could still vary a little bit, but I don't think it's going to vary as much as back in India. That's my point. So because it's always ever-changing market. So when we learn something new, and we do have seminars, for example, it's not in the exam. We do have seminars where like we go through a real case study which is happening right now. So we see their total balance sheet, because if you see the balance sheet, it's going to be like 2-3 pages. Then with the financial statement, so many line items, how you merge it. And to be honest, if for example in the 90 students, no one will be able to solve it. Even in the company, there'll be like a lot of CS managing it. So no one will be in the class. It will be the teacher who is helping us to find it out, where to put stuff and where to find out. They try to find out the solutions for the complicated stuff. And we get used to it when we see that, which was not possible back in India. Maybe I did not do the masters, so
makes sense. I guess that gives you a fair enough idea of what kind of things to expect when you're going to be in a job. I guess they're trying to make you familiar with balance sheet you will be seeing in the companies. Even if you're not able to solve it directly right now, but you know that you, for the process of solving, you're going to be collaborating with people. Makes sense. What about anything else in terms of the colleges or university support for like the careers team, or let's say, like we've already talked about how there's placement cell in India, right? So the companies do come in to take your interviews, but there's nothing like that over here. So what do you think about the differences apart from the academics?
Oh yeah, I forgot to tell about this. For example, in India, even if you're doing bachelor's, for example, if you see the past papers, it's always like they just change the values and you were able to finish the sum or something like that. But here it's much more conceptualized. Like if you don't understand the concept, it's not going to be easy. It's not like they just give the same questions, particularly little more on the concept side. But if you understand the concept, you will be able to do it easily.
Oh yeah.
We just do the sums, and they just change the numbers, or they just change 1 or 2 lines. We'll be able to find it out. So yeah. And like you said, the career services in LSE, I don't think it's going to be much of an help. Any target school, if you go into, because there are career fairs which are happening recently. For example, like as in India, we have placement, like you go for an interview directly. Yeah, to be honest, I had like little hope on the career fairs, which it's just you just meet people from the particular company, and you just ask them question of what kind of roles are there, like what kind of daily work is happening. To be honest, it's not going to help you like you go into a job there.
Yes.
It's just that you get to know a job better by attending a career fair. That's not something like you getting in a job or you're getting a referral to a job.
Yes, you're just meeting people who can potentially help you to get the job, maybe, but at least they can tell you what it is like to work there.
That is something you can get to know. To be honest, I was very disappointed after attending the career fair. At least I thought something will happen. When I was talking to alumni, especially for the job, especially, they were telling me something like, you just keep applying. No matter what, just keep applying. People have said, for example, Soma, you have no idea how much I applied every day. Like at least every week, how many jobs. It's always the numbers game, or the first part of the game is just luck. Like there are people who have gotten their job in 20-30 applications. People have gotten job in 600 applications.
Yes.
and no one knows what clicks, to be honest. Like some people have gotten jobs in the career website, some people have gotten job in LinkedIn, some people have gotten job through cold emailing people, a startup.
Yeah.
And right now I feel like most people have given me advices, if you're not able to get into any big firm or something such, it's going to be hard. But always try for the startups or the, you just cold email them, there are chances they reply you back.
That
You
was
are-
the ambulance, guys. The ambulance. If you heard it.
yeah. And you get into an internship, get a local experience, it's easier to transfer to a full-time role like that. It's always easier that way. So try for small roles, so you always get into a bigger role eventually. So
Yeah,
it works like that.
true. So at least just get in the company,
Nah.
and then you can pivot, or eventually when a role opens up, of course they'll prefer someone who's already in the company to join in. Yeah.
And I find one more thing that people coming to UK do in the first is that they always search for a part-time job when they reach London. I feel like people should stop doing that, in my opinion.
Okay.
Like, especially in the start, don't concentrate so much on part-time job, because you're coming here to build your skills. I understand there are financial liabilities, like at least for some time you get used to it. At least start applying for full-time job at the same time as what you do is for part-time. Don't just start, because I've seen people like they started with part-time job and they're so immersed in the part-time job,
They don't have the time to
to
apply
apply
to
for
the
a full-time
full-time
job.
jobs.
So it's like a
Okay.
full running cycle. And for example, I was coming to, because I was,
Especially, I think this gets worse because graduate scheme applications also
yeah,
start around this time, very much soon. So if you just entered the UK in September, graduate schemes have opened up, university has just started, and of course, if you're applying to part-time roles, you might just miss out on the
all
first
the things,
application cycle
everything.
for graduate schemes.
And
Yeah.
for example, because I worked for 3 years and I'm coming to UK, I already had my friends who did my bachelor's with me, and they already came to UK and they're already back to India.
Okay.
Yeah. So they already went through a full cycle, and all of them have given me one single advice. You might not believe, don't do part-time job.
Oh, interesting.
That is something they give. They're like, Soma, you'll be so immersed in the part-time job, and the problem is that you'll start seeing money that you are getting paid by an hour. Like, so you always think about making more money in that way, that you'll stop concentrating on anything else. You might think you'll not concentrate on college, you just concentrate on getting more money so that you can live.
True.
So once you're college in, you can start a part-time job so that you have enough time for both. Even if you're not getting a job, you would have built the enough skills for getting a job.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
That is something people have advised me, but I'm not sure, because it depends on people to people. Like they might have a financial problem, they will come.
It's understandable. I think that's a point of view. It's an interesting way of thinking about it as well. It's important to also understand what challenges come with going for the application for something. Like again, getting a part-time job is not easy as well. So you understand that you are going to be applying to a lot of them before you can secure one. And that's the amount of time you spent on applying for part-time applications and not the full-time ones.
And
Also, like you said, yes, developing skills is important. Building that network is important. It's very easy to get just immersed in the part-time job market.
Yeah. See, to be honest, you have to build your skills. You need to make sure you are unique compared to the other people. For example, it's always better to say that I did this many courses, or I know this many stuff, or like I know financial modeling works, or I was reading about the research on the bond market in UK compared to the world, something like that. They find it much more interesting than.
Okay, yeah. Makes
So I am particularly inclined to that, but there are people who might disagree with me. So
yeah, that's fine. It's completely a choice that everybody can decide. If you want to go for, there's nothing wrong in doing a part-time job either and earning money, and there's nothing wrong in just focusing a little bit more on the full-time job opportunities. They both have their pros and cons. It's just how are you prioritizing your time right now? That makes sense. Okay. We can start actually wrapping up in that sense. Okay, let's talk about now, because you're still just recently got into LSE, right? So let's think about 2 months back. What have you learned or what have you seen over this time that you wish you knew before coming to LSE? Or maybe you wish you knew you before coming to London? Any things that it would have been better if I knew that these challenges are coming in, so I would have maybe mentally prepared myself for it, or maybe I would have packed a few extra things just in case.
So if I was the things which I could have, for example, I didn't expect the job market to be this fast, because job market actually opened in the August, it seems. I was not sure. I was not even in that. People who
Yes.
especially in LSE, like I saw like so I already applied in August. I got rejected, and I'm like, oh my god, you guys started already. Because I just reached LSE. I was going to prepare my resume, and I was like, people are already started getting rejected by, or they were getting the second part of the interview by that time. I felt like I should have started that something very sooner, because I did get a mail, to be honest, from LSE when I was in July, that if you can send your resume for reviews. I was like, oh, college never started. I didn't take that serious at all until I came here. Then I found out that people are already applying. That's how I found out about it much clear. Like I didn't expect it to be that fast.
Yeah, I think that's one thing a lot of people don't realize. The graduate scheme applications start off really early,
Like,
like 1 year before. And that means that for some people, like for you example, it may mean that even before you started university, you are going to be applying to graduate schemes. So for you, the university started in September, but the application period has already started in August.
And the faster you complete an application is always better. You get a better chance, to be honest, than you were going through a final deadline. Because if they got the enough candidates, they just like when you just complete your application part, they just send an automated mail that you're rejected for this position. That feels so sad because you spent so much of hours spending writing an application and a cover letter. So that is something I wish I knew that this was much more serious, like July. LSE did send me a mail, but I didn't care about it, to be honest.
So anyone who's coming to LSE, and if you notice that email, do not ignore it.
Please.
Take it very seriously, because the application starts really early. Maybe your course hasn't started, but application does.
It's really, I don't understand why they keep it so early, to be honest. Yeah, so like I found
it's similar to how the application also works, I guess. When did you apply to LSE?
I was actually very late. The problem was because I graduated 3 years, like I worked for 3 years. I had to submit academic recommendation letters from my professors. I had to run behind the professors for like 2 months to get my academic recommendation letters, because it's been so long since I talked to my professors, and it's not easy to get it. And I applied it after I getting, like, you need your recommendation. Like the one big drawback in LSE, like they accept only academic reference. They don't accept the professional references.
Yeah.
So we need to work on that. So that was the reason it took me like 2-3 months delay.
Interesting. So LSE accepts only academic references or recommendations.
Depends on the course also. They did accept only the academic one. So I had to talk to my classmates, and to be honest, you ping your professors, they're not going to reply because they're already busy with so many new students after 3 years. Every day new students.
Yeah. So you applied late. What time around? January.
January I applied.
You applied January.
So my application was completed only in the March end.
Oh, okay. So you applied in March, and September you're here.
Yeah, March, and I got my results in May. So I was here September. So it was very packed after I got it. That's another reason I think I missed out on an LSE email. I'm like, okay, who cares about it right now?
Yeah, because I think you were focused on packing, and you have
visa and everything. Stuff I have to show as a proof. So there are a lot of stuff, and accommodation. There are so many options, and there are a lot of things going on in my mind. Okay, let me just look over it when I go back to LSE. So
and then you realized it's too late. Fair enough. At least I guess that gives people an idea that if there's mails coming from the university, they should maybe prioritize them and actually look at them.
My advice, though, like for students, is that just start applying early as much as possible, so that at least you'll get used to the stuff, like what processes will be there, and you'll get used to the rejections every day, that nothing is gonna, and try to build network of people. Like try talking to different people, because there is always going to be an Indian gang in the college. Don't just go to them and start talking to them, because you'll always be in a comfortable zone, to be honest. And that is something I feel like everyone should experience coming to London, because you're spending the money for that, to have a global. It's not something about talking to Indian people. You can have your friend zone in Indians, that's not a problem, but at least talk to someone in a different way, so that you get to know their culture better, or you get to know something new, experience something new. And always don't compare yourself to other people, because you'll find a lot of smart people in the college. That is something I found very hard. You will always be comparing yourself to someone. Might be answering very good in the classes, someone will be in the final part of the interview, someone who will take everything easy but still getting a job very fast. So it's always going to be some person better than you. Just don't compare. Everyone has their own timeline to.
Yeah. Everybody will eventually get it according to their time.
And use your graduate visa properly with getting a graduate scheme. That is something I will advise, because you get one chance. never miss
At
it
the
out.
graduate scheme, yes.
Yeah, so
I know I've noticed this as well. For anyone who is in the final year of undergraduate or in masters, do prioritize graduate schemes because they do not provide to students who don't have visa, or at least they don't have the PSW, the graduate visa. If you don't have a sponsor, if you want sponsorship during the graduate scheme, you're very less likely to get it.
it's like a near to an impossible role, to be honest. If you know,
Yeah.
it's very hard.
Because those schemes usually are going to train the students anyway.
Yeah.
So even if you do bring a lot of experience, they are going to be training. So it doesn't matter to them about whether they take someone who is very experienced. Yes, that's easier, but they're already going to spend the money on training. So even if it's someone who isn't that prepared or experienced, they're still willing to hire them. So are we ready to wrap up?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Soma. It was amazing conversation about LSE, job market, everything. Thank you so much. And hope to see you soon again.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. Happy to help.